thought maybe we could start by just having you say, why did you get into politics?
I usually answer that by saying I'm just unlucky, But I was raised in a house where at the dinner table we talked politics, we talked Christianity, and in high school I went to Washington, D.C. for the first time, and I fell in love with it and with American democracy. I'm a huge nerd. And so in college, here, I'm a Biola alum, and I got involved in student government here as well. And then my first internship did me in. I interned on a U.S. Senate campaign in 1994. That I know is dating me. That's good. And it hooked me. Politics got in my blood, and I've tried to get out of it a couple different times and have gotten pulled back in every time I've tried to get out. So I gave up and gave in, and so it was the cause that got me, I'm a cause person. I love to do good. And I really felt like you could make a difference in the world through politics.
Yeah. Most people, when they think about making a difference in the world, they think big. And I know from our conversations that there's some mistaken assumptions about the way politics works and how things actually change and how we can make that difference. And it happens more at a local level.
Yeah, it makes me sad. I had a discussion with someone who was thinking about running for office, and he wanted to run for Congress, and he had never run for anything. And so I suggested that he run for city council. And he said, oh, no, city council, that's small. I want to go big. I want to really make a difference. And I thought, how sad, because every area of our lives is impacted by local government. And even in this day and age when national politics is so nasty and so hard to get a hold of, at the local level, you can do so much good. You can do it more quickly and more easily and across the aisle.
Yeah. What are some examples of that working across the aisle for local causes that maybe some from the last year?
Yeah, so I've been on city council for 4 years, and more often than not, the way our city council has functioned is that that important things get done with me and the 2 Democrats voting in favor of whatever it is.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, I'm a Republican.
Yeah.
So that looks odd to people.
Yeah.
And hardcore partisans don't always understand that. Other times, we get things done on a 4-1 vote. We very rarely have a 5-0 vote. But we have been dealing, with the homeless in our community and wrestling with how to get people off the street. That's an example. How to reform our police department and how to have our police department accountable and transparent and digging into the community.
Wow. Yeah.
There are issues of trying to declare a business in town that is harboring sex trafficking and prostitution and drug dealing, trying to declare them a nuisance business and shut them down.
Right.
And that doesn't get unanimous support. But there are just so many issues. I mean, when you drive out your driveway, you are affected by local government because you have potholes. When you flush your toilet, when you turn on your tap, that's all local government. If you want to go to the library or a park, it's all local government. So it really does. It's really so important to our lives, and most people don't think a thing about it.
Yeah. And yet it's very difficult. As we were talking even recently, you were sharing with me about that kind of bipartisan work has meant some sacrifice for you. It's meant some cost. And I wonder if you'd be willing to speak to that experience.
Well, local government is nonpartisan for a reason. And the people who were here earlier will hear me say it again, but potholes aren't Republicans or Democrats. They just need to be fixed yesterday. Yes. And so I never care who I have to work with to get something I want done. Whoever's willing to come to the table and collaborate toward a solution, that's who I want to work with. And as I mentioned, not everybody understands that. I mean, I am someone who, for 10 years, I worked full-time for Republican legislators. And then I spent the next 10 years working to elect Republican candidates. And so to go from that partisan world to the world of local government, where it is nonpartisan and it is hyper-local, and there are so many concrete things you do, not everybody understands that. So I've, recently been through, just some hard personal, things where I've had to come to grips with, political party isn't everything. And I loved what Ron said about, your political philosophy being so important to guide, to give you a roadmap, but it's just one aspect of what should go into these decisions that we make. And I've just found that to be true. I've been at odds with people who have been who I have considered friends of mine for a very long time, who refused to consider that I might have been right.
Yeah. And as you bring your Christian faith into the public space, what principles are helping you? What's the backbone of the way you engage in local politics when it comes to Scripture and the Christian theological tradition?
Yeah, so I'm a mess. I will fully admit that to anyone who wants to listen, as I hope we all, honestly admit that to ourselves. And I do fervently pray to God that I don't embarrass him as a servant on the city council. And I have, done that. I have not had control of my tongue. Every city council meeting. Public comment is very difficult to get through sometimes.
Public comment. When the line's going out the door.
Right. And so looking at these people as children of God, whom God relentlessly pursues, is tough sometimes.
Yeah.
But I focus on integrity and in honesty and in trying to focus on people.
Yeah.
It's not, even the pothole is not about potholes. It's about the people who drive over or bump along on those potholes. It should all be about people. In Fullerton, like in every community, we've got some economically disadvantaged communities. We've got a neighborhood in town that I call the forgotten neighborhood of Fullerton, and there are a lot of people, some volunteers here who are loving into that community. And so that's what personally, I focus on integrity and honesty, and as far as public policy, I try to remember that it's always about people, and that we should be about the poor, and we should be about the hungry, and we should be about the vulnerable.
Jennifer, thank you so much for being here at the conference, and I'm honored to have my mayor at this conference. So let's thank Jennifer.